secretary. Would that be an on-call agent? Anyways, good morning, boys and girls. It's really good to hear some of you old guys talking about real meaty subjects. Yeah, they put in their dentures this morning.
Yeah, my personal situation, I was making good combined money between my retirement, my Redlands job, and I stayed in there a lot more years than I thought I would. Just because the money was too good and the job was too easy. But it finally gets to the point, and in my case, 41 years in the law enforcement biz, that's really extreme. You rarely hear that. And I finally, it just finally clicked with me. I don't need the money. What am I doing this for? And I was out of there.
Yeah, but you also were involved in your career where a lot of it wasn't, you weren't quite as much of a target. But after what's happened here in the last several months where, people are just going to go off on you, be it citizen or enemy combatant, the likelihood of getting hurt is a lot greater these days from within.
Well, I did think about it when old Dorner, the guy that got killed up in Big Bear in the big shootout, was running around shooting cops. He had killed and seriously wounded the Riverside cops and everything. And he went up to Big Bear, and it occurred to me that if he was down in Riverside and get up to Big Bear, he went up Highway 38. He went right through Redlands. And there I am running around in a marked truck wearing a uniform. So, he went through late at night. I'm sure he came up the 215E and got off on probably San Bernardino Avenue north of the 10 and went east and on up Highway 38. So yeah, that guy was shooting at anything with a uniform.
I've got all the cops, well, I don't know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I've got probably, I have a good handful of cop buddies, and, I would say out of 10 of them, just to call it a round even number, 2 major health issues, 2 work-related, like, had to went out early because of, I'd say about half of them actually get through to without pretty much unscathed, other than their marriages are kind of jacked up and they might drink too much. But, the other half were like a couple of motors I knew. The guy went over, he went over his decision to get out of law enforcement about as many times he went over the handlebars.
More and more people are not in a financial position to call it quits. More and more people, man. I mean, you read the statistics. A very high percentage of people in this country have nothing set aside for retirement.
And I personally think that situation is brought about by the fact that we do not, as part of our educational process, teach people about money as a tool and how to invest and how to make your money make money and just really teach people the value of money and what to do with it.
Yeah, I think they should do that in high school. God knows there's courses they could eliminate, right? Give these kids something practical. I remember in high school taking a class called Business Law, one of the elective classes, and boy, that was an eye-opener. and that was covered in there, plus contracts, you know, how business is done. I mean, that was a good education for a kid.
Absolutely. Although I have seen this thing where they have this, it's like a class, you know, where they actually make you start a business and learn, you know, how to, you know, reconcile a checkbook and to deal with accounts receivable and accounts payable. Absolutely, man. It's a practical thing. Same thing like has been discussed so much in so many, you know, circles that, you know, going for a college degree is not the be-all and end-all that it used to be, and really not for the percentage of people that it used to be either. I mean, we really need to, as a society, here I'm harping again, you know, change our educational system. And like you said, Terry, give people something frickin' practical.
Yeah, well, there is that movement. I've been reading about it, man. More and more people are not going to four-year colleges or going on to graduate degrees. They're actually going to, like, tech colleges and getting the ability to actually do something that people will pay you good money for. My God, what a concept.
Well, I believe that, you know, back to the high school illustration, the idea of running a business, life is a business. And you need to look at it that way. You've got your receivables, you've got your payables, you've got your, you know, you've got your product, which is pretty much you. And how do you manage all of that to make sure that your gazinda is more than your gazouda, and that's called gross profit. And then you've got your expenses and everything else associated with it. And that's a good thing to know how to manage. And as far as educational system breaks, we've got to a point where all you need to be taught in high school is how to learn, how to think, solve a problem. And right now with the internet, the way it currently is, why would you want to go spend 4 years and get a liberal arts degree when you can learn whatever you need to learn online to a great degree? And just be done with it.
My liberal arts degree, you know, and if things don't work out, there's always the federal poverty plantation where my children's dreams and futures go to die.
It's a great point that you make, Tim. However, the fly in the ointment, as I see it, with that, and I think it's a great thing, and I've certainly, you know me, I've certainly availed myself in all of those forums. However, the fly in the ointment is a funny little word that starts with M. It's called motivation. And like you said, I have said many, many times that the biggest flaw with the educational system, at least in my experience, in my limited experience, is that the primary and secondary educational system here never really taught me how to learn. Thank God for my parents and the way that they raised me and the environment that I grew up in, because that's really what taught me that. And, you know, searching for whatever piques your interest and follow it. But it wasn't until college that I really, really learned how to learn. And I did it myself. So, big fly in the ointment.
Well, there's two kinds of teachers, right? The best that I saw in college were people who were teaching on the side and that were a success on the outside doing something else. They've been out in the real world. The other teachers, the book learners, you know, they've been in school all their life, pretty much worthless. As the saying goes, right? Those who can't do, those that can't teach.
To your motivation comment? Yeah, that, unfortunately, is the motivation, that drive to succeed is pretty much fostered by the parents and completely dissuaded by the educational system and the way things currently are. Because right now it's about, okay, well, you don't have to get a real degree. You don't have to really get a job. You could just go on welfare and be like a Martin brother, you know, just go out there with your hands out and smoke dope and get drunk and get just enough to bump your ass along and die, die and be buried in an unmarked grave. That's it. And a lot of people are opting for that. It's just too hard. I don't want to have. Oh.
Tim, there's a lot of that it's too hard stuff. There's also a lot of indoctrination in the public school system, and they don't teach trades anymore either. So people that normally would have been found something physical to do that could make it a fair living and not be a blight on society are told that that's not a viable option. You have to go to college. You have to get in debt. And only doctors and lawyers are going to make any money.
Well, they got plenty of tech classes right north of me here at Chaffey College, whether it's automotive, plumbing, electrical, welding.
Prior to that level of education, they're not fostering that, though. I think that's great, Terry. You know, when I was in school, and I'm sure for you, I've heard you mention it before, you know, we had shop classes, metal shop, wood shop, we had print shop, garden shop, cooking shop in my junior high school, believe it or not. We didn't have it in high school, we had it in junior high. Bring that shit back. I agree, they're cutting it. When I was in high school, which was fairly recently, I guess, compared to most of you guys, they were cutting the funding for all of that, but increasing funding for ridiculous other stuff that nobody's going to use anyways. And, you know, there's other good side programs, but they didn't teach you how to make a living. It just seems like more and more a waste of time, at least when I was there 13 years ago.
Really? That's it? Oh man, you do okay. You're doing okay for someone who should be a lot more effed up. Hell, I've got underwear older than that.
Chaffey College has been good to me. One summer before I went to work for Redlands, and I'd retired from LASD, the wife goes, "Hey, I want to take this keyboarding class." Went up there for a summer session, keyboarding. So then I heard about the job about Redlands, right? But I needed to be able to type at 40 words a minute or have it certified by someone else. Well, I achieved that in that summer class. I just went in and the teacher filled out a certificate with me. Man, I didn't have to prove it to Redlands. I had it.
And yes, Tim, class of 03. That's another class that I had in junior high school. I had typing. With a typewriter. Holy frick. But so did I. But it was one of those ones with the rotary head that were a lot faster than the electronic keypad instead of a manual. But they still taught, when I was in junior high, typing. And it was in the bomb shelter of my junior high.
I did too, man. I was going to Catholic school, and I took some summer classes at a public school, and that was one of them, typing.
1972, I took typing also in middle school. And then came the internet and the AOL Instant Messenger and 60 words a minute. KK6GU is going to grab some caffeine. Parents must have thought I was nuts taking typing in 7th grade in 1972. I just thought it was cool for some reason. I had no idea it would be useful later in life.
Yeah, thank God on computers the home rows is pretty much the same on the keyboards, right? Because that's like riding a bike, man, the home row. Just muscle memory.
Yeah, I took one class in high school typing, but I did so much time behind a keyboard, just, computer stuff, that I developed my own skill at typing. I probably should take a class at some point, but I do just fine. I don't look at the keyboard, I can type. I use only 3 or 4 fingers, not all 5, but
I'll never forget my teacher's name, Mr. Edlund, and he'd do the home keys every day. FDA space JKL sim space. ASDF, but close enough for ham radio. There you go.
The class would progress faster and faster and faster. It just had to be natural. It got to the point, you could not look at the keyboard.
Oh, yeah, he used to put paper over the keyboard so if he caught you looking. I always wondered about that last one on the right hand, though, because most Americans, they wouldn't know where to put a semicolon to save their life.
Oh yeah, grammar's another issue, right? Hey, we got Microsoft Word. It'll do it for us.
That's a holdover from when people really learned English. Today, you have to ask a question.
I went on through the Catholic school system, kindergarten through high school, and there was never a time there was a gentleman's fee for just showing up. You had to deliver, you were going to get your frickin' F.
What's crazy is the educational system's gone too far with typing in a way. Both my kids, they barely remember how to do handwriting. They call it cursive. They rather print than do cursive. They don't like cursive. They're like, I just type everything. I'm like, there's a time you're going to be out there without a computer in the world, the pen and the paper. You want to take notes, or at least some kind of nothing else, a stylus and some kind of a thing. But I can't believe that they almost don't demand any kind of cursive, handwriting skills. That's how I took all mine to college. I'm sure nowadays they're going to type all their notes on a computer, but still, it's like becoming a lost skill. Just doing regular handwriting. It's ridiculous. My kids are 12 and 14.
Dad, Mike probably remembers this. The Palmer method of cursive handwriting. And man, the nuns tried to beat being a left-hander out of me, but it didn't take, and they finally gave up.
I don't know how to do cursive anymore either. I do all draftsman style printing, but I do know how to write that way.
Well, yeah, Terry, I remember the Palmer system. Lucky for me, there was a Catholic high. I grew up in San Pedro, California, and I went to San Pedro High School. So lucky for me, I had the stupid idea that I wanted to learn Latin, because I figured, I wanted to learn the roots of language, just my stupid head. And so I was the only Jewish guy in the Catholic school there for 2.5 hours a day. So I got to experience a little bit of that. I wish I'd had the majority of, now looking back, I wish I'd had the majority of my primary and secondary education in the Catholic system, because it was far superior to the public.
I thought so. And, yeah, 2 main things, man. Academic number 1, athletics number 2. And they really pushed both.
I know this is prosaic, but you know, money always works well. But just like anything else, just like anybody else that you get a birthday present or whatever for, if you know the person well enough to really, know their interests or whatever, something that they would enjoy or like, or failing that, the $20 bill works fine.
How about a gift card to an excellent New York deli, Mike?
Anything. If you know the person well enough to really know them, then something thoughtful is certainly well appreciated if they got any balls at all. But yeah, just like anything else. Unfortunately, I don't know the kid too well. I've just met him a few times. It's one of my good buddies' brother's kids.
Posters of Yasser Arafat, though.
Was. I was raised Catholic, and I got a watch from my uncle I really appreciated when I was 13. That's the Catholic version of, well, I don't know if it's equivalent, but you're 13 years old and you're kind of becoming an adult in their religious eyes, right?
Confirmation, man, the sacrament of confirmation.
It's the Jewish equivalent, if you will.
Confirmation, that's the point where it becomes blood in, blood out.
Good thing I didn't make it that far, Terry. As soon as I got confirmed, our family didn't go to church anymore. Isn't that funny? I think my parents just got, okay, as far as got the confirmation, that's it. We're done with this church thing. It was just for the kids, I guess, to get them, kind of to get scared of something in case they did something wrong. I got pushed towards it, and then I got, right before it was time to do it, it was a bunch of hooey. I didn't care. This is what I said at the time, because I was kind of insensitive to my religious law. I was like, it doesn't even exist. Why am I wasting my time doing this? And I got out of it. Well, I know Terry knows this especially, you have to choose a confirmation name, and I chose the name Thomas. And I guess they didn't understand I was kind of being sarcastic, doubting Thomas,
I don't even remember what my confirmation name was. Probably have to ask my mother.
How old is your mom, Terry?
93, but she's got great long-term memory. You know how it goes, so she probably would know.
That is freaking awesome, dude. You're a lucky man. I am too. My mom's 86, going to be 87 here in about 2 weeks. But God bless you, my friend. That's awesome. Hey, good morning, everybody. Just listening in. K60X is taking off on my walk.
Hey, Simone. Guess you're gonna walk right by my place, huh?
Yep, 60X. Listen.
Morning, Simone.
What's up, Terry? Yeah, I'm just going for the walk. A neighborhood stroll here while it's still cool. I'll just be listening. K60X. Good morning, Simone. I was watching your namesake last night. I don't know if you've been following the Olympics, but that little Simone gymnast, holy cow. You talk about a fireball. Wowie. Yeah, it's funny when I'm listening, I hear the other girls cheering around. Come on, Simone, come on. Of course, we're going to start with it. All right, I got to set this thing down. I'll be listening to you guys. I don't want any mishaps, so talk to you guys later. I'm about 2.5 pounds outside of the 200 mark, so I'm pumped. Congratulations on the weight loss. That's awesome. That's a huge accomplishment. It's a bitch. I've tried lots of years, and I gotta keep it. This is YPA checking into the Sparkler net. Is it boring over there or what? Everybody's over here.
We're still on the education thing. Spent a lot of years training reserves assigned to patrol. I was a training officer, and I had attorneys, I had MDs, electricians, plumbers, whatever, business types. And the reason I bring that up is I worked with this one guy that was a plumber, and he was a really sharp guy. And but he made, he was making good money doing, in his field. And I asked him why he went into it, and he goes, "My father told me this." He says, "You'll never face a layoff. In good times and bad times, in war and in peace, people got to take a shit, and their pipes are going to break."
Was a very smart man right there. Yeah, it's all good until you have to go down in that basement where the sewer pipe broke and there's 3 feet of sludge down there.
Well, they're going to pay for it, I guarantee you.
That's why I'm always preaching the trades. Not just one, maybe you go to 2 or 3. It will always pay.
Well, it's kind of like doing your first fat chick, Yeah, someone's got to do it, and someone's going to pay.
Yeah, the problem with the trade thing is there are predictions saying within the next 20 years, a lot of the blue-collar jobs are going to be obsolete.
I mean, it's going to be automated, robots are going to do it?
Yeah, there'll be automation, especially with the age of the internet and all that. There'll just be different types of jobs. Your furniture will probably be made by IKEA that has a robot in China making it. And there'll be new jobs that, in 20 years that we haven't even conceived of today. Having worked on
DIY YouTube videos are having an effect. Things that people would call a handyman, or whatever on. They go to YouTube and they look and they go, "Shit, I can do that."
I think that's good. Handymen are always been kind of a rip-off in my opinion, even though I do some of that stuff. But we're having worked on both ends of YPA, from automated cabinetry to hand-built woodwork. There's a huge movement going back to, I hate to use it, but like the handcrafted sort of crap. So right now it's working for me, but yeah, it may not always in the future. Well, Rob, I think you're safe in your skill. Carpentry is going to be one of those things that there's going to be a niche market for, and that's what I think. This is just a personal thought. With all this automation going on, people aren't going to want something made by a robot somewhere. Like a system IKEA throw together thing. There's going to be a certain section of people that are going to want a handcrafted piece of furniture, and they'll be willing to pay. So you just got to make yourself good enough to where you're in that top part of the market. I would have said electronics repair if we're going into the robot